Hey, what's up there, everybody? Sette, right back here for you here on Focus to the Finish YouTube channel. You know what? We are 1 week away from the 2025 Breeders' Cup as I'm recording this early on Friday morning from the Sette compound here. And we're going to go over what I feel is the race of the day on Saturday, tomorrow. Which would be October 25th tomorrow, because I know you horse players are most likely playing the races tomorrow, and it is the closing weekend at Keeneland. So I figured I'd share my deep dive handicap for what I feel is the race of the day. And I got all my findings and my notes in front of me, lots up here. So we're going to take it a full deep dive, 11 horse field. This is the Grade 3 Fayette, all right? The Grade 3 Fayette, race 9 at Keeneland tomorrow on Saturday. So, and if I do have time, as a bonus, you guys, I do appreciate your viewership. So if you appreciate me in this channel, please like and subscribe if you haven't as of yet. In the comments, I may provide some additional opportunities late in the day for Keeneland that surround this race, like the double or a recommendation for a pick 3 or the pick 5 then. But the focus here today is this one race, race 9 at Keeneland, the Grade 3 for $350,000 Fayette. And one thing that's really intriguing about this race overall, I love when you get seasoned veterans entered with 3-year-olds who are facing older horses, because, you know, it is intrigue to the handicap. Because, you know, I always say, for your new handicappers out there, you don't only look at the last 2 or 3 races in the charts, in the daily racing form, or whatever past performances you do use. You got to look at the full body of work, especially in races like this, all the time. But if you got a Grade 3 race like this, you have to think about the campaign. You got to think about the full body of work, all right? And you have to watch as many races as need be. Now, to my advantage here, a lot of these seasoned veterans, Mr. Sette already has many of these races tabulated upstairs. Goes along with my focus. But I have reviewed some of these guys very, very often. So without further ado, that is my approach. We have a field of 11. I am happy that you're with me here. Somebody asked me about, because they know I am partial to not only the New York Yankees in baseball, but the Rams in football. And one of my viewers said, you know what, Gio, I love all your Ram jerseys. You got to follow up with some more. And I have plenty. So now I'm going back to the 1999, 2000, 2001 Rams, the legend of Kurt Warner, Super Bowl champions for you guys today, Gio Sette's attire. All right, without further ado, you get your pens handy, because one thing I pride myself, and you guys could watch various handicaps or different shows that are available for you on big races. But I like to think that I provide some specific information you may not hear elsewhere. I just have my way of doing things. And, you know, let me know in the comments if you agree to that. Yeah, there may be some similar thoughts out there. But my findings, I always consider rather unique, because I dig down a little deeper often, most of the time. And trust me, I'm digging down deep for your Breeders' Cup 14 races. For those of you that are in my corner and looking to focus to the absolute finish. All right, enough of all that. Let's talk about the Grade 3 Fayette. Saturday, Keeneland, post time somewhere in the area of 5:15 p.m. Eastern. First, my notes. The 1 is Lambeth, okay? Lambeth is trained by Joe Sharp. Now, Joe Sharp, if you follow the game, is usually extremely reliable in Kentucky, whether it's at Ellis Park, Keeneland, or Churchill. However, this meet, he's only 1 for 23. So he's due. He's due. This is a nice-looking son of Arrogate out of a Tappet mare. So obviously built to win. The current pattern is very, very interesting over the last few races. All right. And I'm not really into specific form cycles, but I do take into consideration when I see some clever maneuvering by a ownership group or more so a conditioner, especially one like Joe Sharp. So this guy is currently on a turf to dirt pattern. However, he is stepping into deeper waters because this is some, this field is laced with some real hard-nosed, very game individuals. But when you think about his full body of work and getting this rail spot after racing very, very well at Kentucky Downs, breaking from a very difficult outside post, coming off the turf, ambitiously entered into this grade 3 event. I feel with Jose Ortiz up, the game plan is going to be tactical, have position, and he does have tactical speed, get in good position, and based on his pedigree and what I feel he has in this guy, I think that this guy has a very good chance in this race to make his presence felt with lasting ability, what could be deep into the stretch. I don't have any reservations about the 9 furlongs. So with that said, I am considering the 1 to be a contender in this field. I will be using in my wagers going forward, like my pick 3 and my pick 5. But for this particular race, he's not my top choice, but he's a contender for sure. I like his chances because they seem to be putting him in a spot versus very seasoned individuals and Joe Sharp is good. Joe Sharp is sharp. And this could be a good spot coming off the turf, off that very good effort to run his first race at Keeneland. Let's go to number 2, Honor Marie. Now, Honor Marie, if you follow the game, many of you are definitely familiar with this guy because he was in the Kentucky Derby Trail going back a couple years. He's only won for his last 9, and he ran his best race as a juvenile. If you go ahead and watch all of his races, his most, and oddly so, his most convincing, most confident race, in my opinion, was as a juvenile. There was lots of buzz on this guy during the 2024 Derby Trail, but he never, ever truly fulfilled expectations. Back then, I didn't really like him that much. I saw some ability, but he didn't move forward enough for me to like him at 3. And now at 4, it would be a big surprise. As much as respect I have for Whit Beckman and Ben Curtis, rider trainer, it'd be a big surprise if Honor Marie made a strong presence in this race. Number 3 is Bracket Buster. This horse was a little interesting for me. First things first, Mr. Sette saw him literally up close and personal as I stood in the paddock at the Haskell during the summer. So I thought he was physically imposing. I like the way he's built. And since then, to me, at least in race review and visually looking at him, he appears to be getting stronger. So Johnny V up now for the very underappreciated Vicky Oliver. Johnny V happens to be a perfect rider for him. Now, in this race, they're moving off Sayaz because Sayaz, who I absolutely always stand by, Sayaz is going to ride Gosker. But they lose nothing with Johnny V up. a very, very cerebral rider who knows how to manage a horse's tactical ways on or near the lead. And this horse is a fast horse. So with Johnny managing his tactical speed, if you look back to his Oklahoma Derby, it was visually impressive, albeit, gotta admit, it was a weaker field. This guy is 2 for 2 at Keeneland with nice works over the track for this. Can't dismiss that. However, he's a 3-year-old facing older. So as a handicapper, you take the pros. There aren't many cons. Fact is, he is a 3-year-old facing older. It's a fast horse. I like Johnny V in this spot. He may have another race where he extends himself and moves forward again, because his last two, listen, you can't dismiss back-to-back triple number buyers, a 100 and a 102. His wins at Keeneland make him a contender. He's dangerous if the horses I ultimately choose, and you'll get my precise order at the end, but listen to what I'm saying about every one of these horses. You'll know who to dismiss and who to use and how to use them. But Bracket Buster, deserves your consideration. I am definitely going to use him underneath, and I need to make a game time decision if I'm going to use him going forward, because he does need to have others falter to improve his chances. But it's a nice racehorse who's developing nice, and I think he'll have a good 4-year-old campaign next year. All right, let's go to the 4 now. The 4 is Dilger. I'll be rather brief with this guy. You got to notice that Irad is off Dilger, and Irad's going to be on Hit Show, the bottom horse in this race, which we're going to get to. But they pick up Pratt. So you don't really lose much, but what's compelling here is trainer Safi Joseph, who has a world of success in Florida, and he's made himself to be a national name. He's won a lot of big races, but he doesn't win too many races in Kentucky overall, if you think of the grand scheme of things. So now he's at Keeneland. This guy's got one race at Keeneland. He does have tactical speed. Irad moves to Hit Show, but I'm not a fan of the stretch out here. In my opinion, in race review, and looking at this guy, I think he's best going 7 furlongs, a mile, even less. The stretch out turns me off, and I think overall this isn't a good spot for him, so I will not be using number 4, Dilger. Number 5 is Moonlight. First, let me go over some of the points I made in the Sette document here as I write my full script, which you guys will get a piece of for those who are so inclined, who are in my corner for the full 14-race Breeders' Cup handicap. Number 5, Moonlight. Tyler's up for Chris Block, who I do have lots of respect for. It's a nice, solid, consistent barn. Solid conditioner overall. This gray has had a nice season overall. And I do feel in race review that he prefers the dirt surface over the other surfaces that he ran. Remember, he's got 5 turf tries. So I like him on the dirt, which this race will be run. And he's gotten more physically imposing. All you have to do is go back 7 or 8 races and then watch his races now, and you'll see he seems more physically imposing, stronger. So he's stronger at 4, and he's faster at 4. His last being his career best buyer. So, but with this guy, with all that tactical speed and some very seasoned closes in this race, I feel he will need a very advantageous trip. But if he gets a clear lane, he can easily hit the board. So keep that in mind. He's going to need a very beneficial, clean trip. If he gets it, I wouldn't be surprised if he hits the board. Does he have a shot to upset the field? I would say yeah, but others would have to not run their best who I have ranked higher than him. All right, let's go to the 6, Rattle and Roll. Now, those of you that follow me closely, you'll know that I was on him in his last, in the Grade 2 Lucas Classic. I was disappointed that day, but I had every reason to be optimistic that he would return from a very arduous traveling schedule and come back running, because I thought he was conditioned well and he looked good in his workout. Very puzzling or perplexing race in his last. However, I'm putting a line through that. Just like you, your brothers, your sisters, maybe even your children, if they're my kids' age, we all have bad days. Horses, even though they're creatures of habit, some days they just don't got it. So you got to give a horse like this a pass. And I'll tell you why. He's a 4-time winner at the distance. Tons and tons of back class. Ran many races, huge races in the past. What has he earned? He's close to $4 million in earnings. So this is a true veteran, now age 6. If you look at his works at Churchill for this, extremely professional, fast breezes. 59-4 and 1:03. If you look at those 2 works, after all he's been through with his schedule, and now he's getting another race, his second off a layoff, let me tell you something. Those works are an indication that he's fresh, fit, and dangerous. And like I said, yes, does it appear that his best races go back? Yeah, but you know something? Last year, he ran a couple of big races, and he's only 6. He's not 8 or 9. This guy, if he runs to his maximum potential, can easily upset the field. Am I choosing him as my top choice? No, because there are some question marks. But I know a lot about this horse. And if he gets the right pace in front of him, and like I mentioned with Moonlight, he gets a clear lane, he's capable of winning. The only thing I was a little turned off by, Ken McPeak is a very savvy, emotional trainer, and he's loyal to his riders. Now, we know BJ Hernandez wasn't available. He's still healing from that horrible fall. But in his last 4 races, he's had Rosario up, William Buick overseas, Le Peru, and now he's going with Manny Esquivel. So I was a little concerned with that, but I can't dismiss Rattle and Roll. I'm going to use him underneath. He will be in my triple. He will be in my super. I got to look at him race day, guys. Sometimes Mr. Sette's got to look at the behavior in the paddock and get a feel for things. I watch the board, those type of things. So, but I had to really elaborate on Rattle and Roll. And I got him 4th in my overall handicap. So you guys, third. So 3rd/4th, 4th/3rd. I'm going to give you my precise order at the end of this presentation. The 7 is Best Actor. I won't have to say as much about Best Actor because I'm not on him here. He does have tactical speed. So with a solid break, few viewers out there, I think he should be within 3 lengths early around the first turn. It's a second time Machado. Machado is an aggressive rider who, gives his best effort. So I think that's a good thing that second time Machado here. But in this spot, this guy, Best Actor, to me seems just overmatched by this group. The other horses in the races who are older simply look more appealing. So just like I say with fillies, you can't kiss all the girls. Well, with the guys like this, you got to be decisive and eliminate some. And I have to eliminate Best Actor. Even though he's number 7 for Sette, can't use him. Let's go to number 8. Number 8. Okay, wow. I put an OM on him, overmatched. A real outsider, 0 for 5 at Keeneland. Yes, he too has some early speed, which could help the pace be a moderate to fast pace. However, going 9 furlongs here, to me, it's inevitable that even if he's up early, he's likely to falter and be off the board. Too much to ask. I will not be using the 8 Prince of Power. All right, let's go to the last 3 horses in the race, and which are all interesting and compelling at the same time, with a capital I and capital C, because they all 3 deserve some respect. But I'm going to break it down, and coincidentally, my top choice comes out of these 3. And let's get right to them right now. So the 9 is Dragoon Guard. First, my notes. Solidly built gray colt, never off the board in 9 career starts, winning 5 and hitting the exacta a ridiculous 8 times. So, excuse me a second. Aqua Frisch, I got to hydrate now and then. I'm getting a little up there in age. Okay, Dragon Guard. So I said he's never been off the board in 9 starts. Hitting the exacta 8 times. He won his only race at Keeneland, and he does travel well. Interestingly enough, that Florent Giroux stays with him and not Hitshow, who he's ridden many times for big purses. Remember that. So you got to trust Brad Cox. This is a nice-looking Judmont colt. And more importantly, if you look at the entire body of work campaign leading to this race, remember, Judgment Colt, Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, and now this is a son of Arrogant, who to me, based on a collective race review for his full body of work, because I like to see when a horse hits the exacta several times and doesn't win, I ask myself why. Deservingly so, he should have been beaten those races, but can't argue with success. This guy's got a nose for the wire. Whenever you start 9 times and win 5 times, and then look at one other thing with him. Look at all the money he has taken on the board throughout his very brief career, now at age 4. Like I said, he's facing some veterans, but he's consistent, reliable. He hasn't laid an egg yet. And all that money that got poured into him, what happens here, maybe you're going to get a little of a break. No doubt he's going to be bet. All right? I'm estimating he may be on the board at like 3-1. Maybe 4 tops, as low as 5-2. So watch the board. I think he's got a big shot here. He's proven at the distance. And, the angle, listen, the bottom line is trainers make decisions. Owners make decisions. This is a very influential trainer and ownership group. I like him. Top choice, must use in your doubles, pick 3s and pick 5s. Is there a possibility that he could get upset here? Yeah, because it's a good field, but got to be decisive. He's my top choice, and I will use him in a superfecta key with my others underneath. But I'm not singling him because it's one of those fields where with the right trip, there could be an upset. But this guy's going to be tactically sound. I trust the connections. I have no reservations about the distance. He's going to run a good race as long as there's no odd mishap, like a bad break or, something gone bad, God forbid. Contender, dangerous contender, top choice. All right, let's go to the 10, Gosker. Gosker's got my boy Sayaz up, who I always respect and consider. And remember, Sayaz has ridden Bracket Buster twice in a row, including for the big purse at the Travels. So now he's off Bracket Buster and stays with Gosker. Now Gosker is a 3-year-old facing older. Sayaz is up for Brandon Walsh. Always intriguing. second race off a layoff, facing the older horses. He did run a very, very energetic, huge game race at the Haskell, which he was ultimately run down by journalism, who coincidentally ran him down at the Preakness. But if you look at those two races, the Preakness and then the Haskell, this horse ran huge. However, by running those huge races, I knew I would short him in a Pennsylvania Derby, which I did. It was a perfect opportunity to short him, and in the PA Derby, he was under 3-1. That's why you got to watch races. You got to real. Now look, to be fair, he had a rough start in Pennsylvania Derby. He did. And this is a nice colt with a real good future at 4. Love Sayaz. And he does have a win here at Keeneland. But in this spot, it's just a tougher ask for me. I got to say, I will use him if I have a very deep superfecta key. But I got to part ways with Sayaz in this race. And if he beats me, he beats me. This is a talent horse who it's hard for me to eliminate entirely off my ticket. So I'm going to use him in the deep bottom gimmicks. But I see more from him going in as a 4-year-old than facing older here from this post position with all that other tactical speed in the race. I just don't know if he could run that big again in this spot. Finally, let's go to the 11 Hit Show. If you follow the game, you're familiar with Hit Show, okay? Well-built gray, son of Candy Ride, again out of a Tappet mare. You got Irad up for Brad Cox. Now remember, what I mentioned earlier, Brad Cox is going off Florent Giroux, who's now going to be riding Dragoon Guard, and now they pick up Irad. And you know what I say about Irad. You never lose anything. He's arguably the best rider on the planet. But now Hit Show in this spot, 2 for 2 at Keeneland. So you know he's a horse for the course. A very successful gray with over $8 million in earnings. Those $8 million in earnings came, of course, with the big race overseas, where if you win over there, it's always a big purse. But he does have 4 wins at the distance, always dangerous. Irad makes him more appealing. Irad, you know, if he gets a big run and a fast pace and a stretch, he's going to dig down deep and give this guy all he's got. He'll need a moderate to fast pace, but he needs to be respected because he can mount a powerful close. So in this race, because I like others, which I'm now going to give you my precise order, but Hit Show should be used in your triples and your supers. You know, and if the board presents something to you, or if you see something negatively about the other horses in the paddock, then maybe you could use them in an exacta, but I'm not. Respect Irad, respect the connections, but I really feel like Brad Cox has a greater urgency on the 9 more than the 11. All right, so there you have it. The Sette deep dive in this grade 3 event tomorrow. So please like and share this video. Anybody who's betting Keeneland tomorrow, why wouldn't they benefit from my presentation? Win, lose, or draw. I'm giving you the facts. I'm giving you my findings. I'm giving you the focus and my heart. Can I nail it? Precise? Absolutely. But if I don't, you have more information at your disposal. The Sette precise order finish. 916, 311, 5. That comes out to Dragoon Guard, Lambeth, Rattle and Roll, Bracket Buster, Hit Show, and Moonlight. You know what? I wouldn't rule out any one of these from upsetting the field, but my win probability percentage is what it is. feel like Dragon Guard is the most likely winner. I'm playing that 9-1 exacta. I'm playing that 9-1-6 triple. I'm playing that 9-1-6-3 super first. I get that out of the way. Because if I'm right and precise, I'm getting paid. Then I'll worry about my other exotics and how I approach the race and what my budget is for the race. This is the same approach I am providing for you, all of you, for the 14 races at the Breeders' Cup. Now, I won't be doing a show on them. If you're interested in what I'm doing, what I'm offering for the Breeders' Cup, send me an email, focustotofinish@gmail.com. I'll see you here in the next show. I got lots to share. I will be doing additional deep dives for you like this, race of the days, maybe even some full cards if you want to hang with me for a couple of hours. But that's all I have for you here. God bless you. God bless your families. Let's make it a great Friday. And you know what? World Series Game 1 is tonight. Who's better than us? Major League Baseball playoffs is good. Get cozy on your couch. Get the popcorn ready. Watch World Series Game 1 and get ready for a big race day on Saturday. I'll see you real soon. What do I say? Focus to the absolute finish. Good luck to you.